Welcome to Raising Nashville. I'm Bucky.
What day is it? Juicebox.
Oldboy.
And we want to provide an update for you guys. We are still outside. In fact, I want to call this Raising Nashville podcast live from Juicebox's back deck, or the back deck sessions. That sounds a little more exciting than what we're actually having to go through, because it's kind of chilly out here.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a different experience. You guys may hear some sirens. You may hear some crickets. You may hear
An owl or two.
Yeah.
Gunshots.
Gunshots.
It's not.
Madison is known for gunshots and owls.
You guys, it's not late enough for gunshots.
That's right. Yeah,
That
it's
is
still
true.
fairly early.
We do have a fire going to provide the ambiance for the podcast tonight. I know you guys are probably listening in your climate-controlled vehicles or headphones or houses or whatever, but we want you to get the feel of what we're going through right now. I've got no heat from the fire. It's too far away because we have a lot of equipment
We're
out
social distancing from the fire, too.
Correct. Because we have to these days, because we are still in the suck.
Yep.
Is what I'm calling it.
C19.
Dude, it's terrible. Like, this is going to sound terrible, but at this point, it's almost like, how bad would it be to just go ahead and get coronavirus? Because I'm bored as fuck, you guys.
Yeah. And the ending
tough.
dates are definitely longer than the 14-period quarantine dates that you have if you get the coronavirus. So
Right.
if we all got that 14-day period, we might be able to go back to concerts and sporting events and hanging out with our friends that, and hugging.
We miss.
Yeah.
Hugging.
Yeah.
Like, I don't believe that. Just disclaimer. But
No.
but at the same time, man, come on.
It'd be nice to get out.
We've had some ups and downs. I'm sure all of you out there, everybody's dealing with the same thing.
Everybody is in the same boat.
Yeah. You're going out to go to the grocery store, the liquor store, hopefully, and that's the only two things. If you are working, thank you. If you don't have to work and you still feel the need that you have to go into work, please stop doing that. Like, you're not proving anybody anything.
Yeah,
exactly.
Exactly. Like, it's not the time to try to wear that badge.
Enjoy these times, and it's hard. And we'll be the first people to say that it is hard because we have kids and we're dads and we like our social lives too. This is not the easiest thing I've ever gone through.
It's been, like, I hate to complain about it. Like, I hate to complain that I have to hang out with my kid in an extended period of time. But, like, at the same time, that shit is exhausting when you're trying to do your job at the same time.
Yeah.
Like,
True.
The two things cannot coincide.
Yeah, and my kid's not happy about it either. Like, she would rather be at school than hang out with me, who has to work, and I can't give her all the attention. She's like, oh, God, I'm bored. You're boring.
Hell yeah, these kids are missing their classmates. Like,
Yes.
100%. Like, I don't know about you guys, but we've FaceTime with a couple of people from Barrett's class. Like, some of our friends, their kids are in our class. So we FaceTime with them. As soon as he sees them on the phone, his face, like, lights up, and he's, like, just, like, super excited, and they're super excited. Like, you can tell these kids miss each other.
They need interaction, too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Besides
so
for just boring-ass adults that are drinking all day.
Yeah, it's tough on them.
Speaking of that, so what we want to do this week is we have something very special for you guys out there. Yes, we are revisiting our current coronavirus topics, which we're going to release our coronavirus anthology, which is a series of episodes that we've had to record not only about the subject, but in the midst, social distancing from each other outside on a 55-degree night.
Is this our fourth coronavirus episode?
So we had outbreak, potty training, and then we did something else, right?
We did the original coronavirus. We had to take a break to talk about it.
I'm losing track of more than just the days, I think.
No, I agree.
When you asked what day it was, my first initial response was going to say it's always Wednesday.
If you are our loyal listenership out there, today is Monday, because today is when we release our episodes. And thank you for listening. But this week, what we want to do, I'm gonna title this episode "The Never Ending Story," because that's currently what we are dealing with right now. Is repetition. it can be dangerous for some people out there. Some people make it creative. And that's what we want to talk about today is what you've been doing during the coronavirus. We've got some special guests on the episode today that we're going to call up who live in states other than Kentucky and Tennessee.
Yeah.
We're going to get their perspectives on how long they have been under lockdown. I feel like the jail closing door should happen right there. That sound bite. Yeah, it's
Pretty good.
We're all dealing with it our own way, and that's what we want to talk about today. So I'm going to start this off.
Hold on, real quick. You guys have been seeing Falcor at your house?
I was gonna say, dude, who's the luck dragon in this story?
Yeah. I want to know more about what's been going on at Bucky's house.
Yeah, Trey.
That's just what I wanted to name it, because you could have watched the movie 30 times, or you could be living the movie currently in your own head with the isolation that you're dealing with.
Okay. All right. Yeah. The nothing.
The nothing.
Oh my God!
Great.
Yeah, you're right.
It's the nothing. It's
So-
very appropriate. Your title.
Yeah, so if we're using Neverending Story as a roadmap, we're close to kind of getting out of it.
Right. Yeah.
We've made the journey.
I'm optimistic.
Yeah, we've made the journey. We're at the peak. It's time to get out. So I'm gonna go ahead and start us off.
All right. What have you been up to?
No,
How's your mom in there?
You can't beat me to that question.
Oh, you're gonna ask me.
I was gonna start it off by
okay.
saying, "Old boy,
What
during
up?
the coronavirus, what have you been up to?"
Well, I work every day, and I'm very grateful to have work because it does. Our sales and there's just nothing going on because there's nowhere's open. Half the nation shut down, but we're still keeping busy trying to come up with programs and things to help our customers. So I'm very grateful for that. So I do work, and I work every day, all day. Other than that, though, I do take a lunch break. I go on walks.
Okay.
We take our daughter on walks, which is great.
Did you walk
bike riding?
ever in your daughter's life prior to this?
Never. Nope. Never took a step. We just rolled around everywhere.
I mean,
Yes.
Did you take
yes.
leisurely walks as a family?
Yes. When we lived in a previous neighborhood that had better streets for it, my street's pretty busy. It's tough to walk on there and then
Sure.
to get to other streets. But all that's changed. We're doing a lot of walking now. I also took up shooting a bow and arrow, and I bought it last year, but I've had a little time to go out there and kind of shoot some arrows.
How
Some
many
targets?
Is this a compound bow, a straight bow? What
Straight
kind of
bow, just a
Whoa.
straight
All right.
pull-back bow.
How many arrows do you have?
I have 4. I've lost 2.
That was the question. How many arrows did you have?
So
I had
you have
6.
2.
I had 6 total, but I lost 2, and it was amazing. I found the other 4. I've lost all of them at some point.
Okay.
It's a mother, but it's something I'm doing. It's pretty fun and relaxing. I also we've been gardening. I've got gardens I built last year. I built a new one yesterday or the day before. I hoed a piece of land that was like 2 by 16 feet, and it was the longest 2 hours of my damn life.
Right.
It was like it was terrible.
I don't think I've ever heard anyone say the phrase, "I've hoed a piece of land."
Right. I was talking about this, and somebody's like, "Man, why didn't you just go buy a tiller?" And I was like, "Well,
Lockdown, bro.
I'll never do that again."
Sure.
Yeah. So board games. Been playing a lot of board games, cards. I bought some tarot cards, so I'm going to start telling fortunes here soon.
God,
This goes along with your handmade Ouija board?
Right. Yes.
Okay.
And
he's going to start putting us. That's what this virus has done to all of us. Is Oldboy's going to have a sign in his front house that says "Tarot Palm Reader" inside.
maybe. I mean, shit. You got to do
Hey,
what
we
you
all
got
to
to
get
do.
by, yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you your fortune. It don't look good. Whiskey. Been drinking some whiskey. Starting some fires. I have not.
Wait. Let's go back real quick. Let's rephrase that. I've been drinking
right.
some whiskey and starting some fires.
Right.
That's not a good path.
We're not writing a country music song here.
Right. Well, we have to consider all options now. No, I got a fire pit out back. I haven't used it that much. We got it. I think I got it for Christmas. So I have a chopped down tree. I'm chopping up the wood, getting it in smaller bits, building
Okay.
fires, drinking, trying to forget. I'll tell you something I have not been doing. Most folks that know Oldboy knows Oldboy likes video games, right? I have not been playing that much video games at all.
There's no way. I don't believe you.
Swear to God, I'm more productive. So I do 30 minutes a day though. My daughter and I play The Legend of Zelda. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So
On what system?
on Nintendo Switch, and
Gotcha.
it's Link's Awakening. So it's kind of like a
So it's not the Legend
top-down
of
version.
Zelda.
No, it is, but it's just another one.
Okay.
So anyway,
But it's like a classic version.
kind of it's kind of like the classic version, like top down.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
so we've been playing it, and she's gotten really interested. It's something we do together. We don't play a lot. She doesn't get a lot of screen time still, even in this. So the other day, she's like, "Well, we switch controllers. I'm like, here, you play." So the other day, she says, "Daddy, give me the controller. I can do it better than you."
Okay.
And I thought, I've been playing this game for 30 years. There ain't no way. I mean, she was very like, come on now. Like, just give me the control. I can do this better than you. I thought, get out of here.
All right.
So I thought that was pretty interesting.
So did you give her the controller?
I did. And she all she does is want to blow up bombs, I guess. She just equips bombs and depletes the whole
She likes
inventory.
excitement.
Yep. She's
She's
like, I'm going out. I'm taking Link out of this. It's been interesting. She's gotten really sassy. And then I've watched a few shows. I binged Legion. I got through it. I enjoyed it. It's trippy. It's weird. And then I also grew a mustache.
You
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Let's put that in quotation. Let's put "grew" in quotation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you could even put mustache.
Let's
in
just
quotation.
say,
Yeah, yeah.
let's say you're growing a mustache.
Yeah, okay. It's
Yeah.
been and the sad thing is it's been a solid 3 weeks, 4 weeks, however long it's been. This is as good as it's gonna get.
Yep. I
Yep,
still
I
see
know.
through it.
So I'm a Treyu then.
You are.
You
You
are.
really are.
All right. That's all I've got really. And then
that sounds
podcasting with
exciting.
you jokers.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, we haven't seen each other in quite a while because we are practicing our stay-at-home safe things. We've
done
a
fairly
couple of
well.
us. I don't know if you guys out there have heard, but there's this app called House Party that
Yeah,
a lot
we-
of people are on,
We have been house partying it.
and we've been house partying, meaning basically it is instead of calling your friends to say something on the phone, you can just look at them, and it's not always the greatest, but
I don't know.
it's fun. You can pop in on other people's houses.
Yeah, I love it a lot. I think like we just all seem to be logging on around 4 p.m. Everybody's having a beer. It's not bad.
What have you been doing?
Yeah.
Besides house partying.
Let's.
I've been
And
doing
reading
a
fake
lot
news.
more. I have gone through the emotions, and when I talk about the emotions, the coronavirus, the isolation, the fear of missing out, all of these emotions, like you have to go through anger and sadness and acceptance and fear and more anger, and it's kind of like a roller coaster. Like you don't know where you're at on what day. And at this point, it just becomes acceptance is who we are. So I've gone through the days where I just walk around my house and I'm like, man, I'm so bored. There's nothing to do. I sit in different spots in my house, or whatever. I have discovered that I like my kids more. Like,
Well, kudos to you, buddy.
yeah, I mean, it's.
How do they feel?
I think that's great because I feel like that's probably the opposite of what a lot of people are feeling right now.
It is.
Right.
I feel like the more time I spend with them, the more I get to know them, and the more I understand and kind of like them more.
How
Yeah.
do they
You know-
feel about you, though? Like, there's Daddy over here sitting in a different spot.
Other things that I've done, though, I've gotten creative, right? So if I walk around my house and I see something that I was meaning to do that I haven't done, I've done it.
Right.
And the last couple of days have hit very serious home for me on that. There's just projects that I've had, things that I've wanted to do, extracurriculars. I have a patch of woods behind my house, so I cut out a trail. And I started to cut this trail out, and it took me about 4 or 5 days. I just wanted a walking trail back in my woods,
Right,
get away
yeah.
from my family, smoke cigarettes, and, possibly
Drink something.
yeah, do something back there that's not going to get that much exposure. And then I just kept digging and digging and digging and cutting out trees and stuff and turned it into hey, I got a riding lawnmower. Let's see if we can fit this thing back through here. So I cut out that entire trail. A lot of interesting stories with that. But when that was done, I started pulling weeds. We got a lot of landscape. Got all the weeds pulled.
Yeah.
Apparently, I like instant gratification.
Yeah, yeah.
When you do something, you see it done. I'm
Sure.
running out of instant gratification. You can only clean so much,
Come
right?
over to my house.
yeah, I got a lot here too.
Yeah.
But I've also read more than normal, which,
You-
which
you-
if you know me or you know this podcast,
It's
is
been
probably anything-
established on this podcast that you've only read 9 books in your life.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's less than that. But anyway,
And how many, so what have you? Did you read a book?
no, I've read articles that say it's okay to not pick up a hobby, learn how to do something during this time. It's okay to just be a
Stay in
sloth,
bed.
I guess. I don't know. That's not okay with me,
Well,
but it's
sure.
okay. I've also watched way too much wrestling content.
Okay.
I mean, way too much. Like documentaries, matches, like all a bunch of stuff like that. But I am
Well,
a
you gotta
wrestling
be-
fan, right?
You got to be in something, yeah.
Yeah.
I've done nothing exciting. I think the most exciting thing that I've done since this all started is spying on my neighbors again, but from a safe distance.
Again?
Again.
I mean, I did it when I was
Well, got
bored,
some
like
time on my
in
hands.
college, and when I lived downtown in Nashville on that Broadway, I used to like look around, But
Sure.
I've developed this obsession, and I mean it's fun. It is fun to see what cars go and what stay, who's hanging out in the yard, who's walking by. There's this.
Yeah.
There's a what?
Where are we going with this?
There's this odd guy that runs by my house every day, and the top of his body is way bigger than the bottom of his body, but he's very muscular, and he runs
He
down
just
the street with his chest out every day,
He just skipped leg day for his entire life
his entire life,
until quarantine.
and he runs up and down the street twice a day, and
Do you think he's a lizard person?
I think no. I think he's trying to attract people to him.
So you're watching this guy running and you've made up a backstory
He does. Yes.
based off of his running.
That's what my life has come to.
Okay.
Is I'm making backstories off everybody I see.
So you've gone crazy.
I'm getting close.
All right, fair enough.
But I literally think this guy he's running for style and he's not running for athleticism. He runs down the street in a specific way that is not exercise. It's so hard to explain. I wish you could see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe pick up a book.
Anyway, for me, like, it hasn't been. I saw the similar article that you were talking about, Bucky, that was like, don't worry about if you're not picking up a hobby or doing something during this quarantine. And that gave me that made me feel a little bit better because
Sure.
honestly, like, during this quarantine, like, I've been watching our kid, like, either me or Dana, we're both working and we're both, like, working a lot.
Yeah.
So, like, between that and watching our kid, there's not much extra time for shit. You know,
Right.
like,
Sure.
I did finally get to watch The Mandalorian, which was pretty cool because it became our, like, after lunch ritual with me and Barrett. Like, we would eat lunch together and we would start to watch The Mandalorian, which he called Robot and Baby. He calls Baby Yoda Baby. He calls
Perfect.
Mandalorian Robot. So, like, that's like, we get done eating lunch. He's like, Robot Baby? And it's like, F
Hell
yeah, we
yeah.
can put on Robot Baby. Yeah.
Hell yeah, we can.
And every single time he would watch about half the episode, like, get in his little tent that we have in our living room and just, like, fall asleep.
That's
and it was just
great.
like, this is perfect. Then I, like, got to, like, clean up our house or do some work for a couple hours. So
yeah.
that's basically been it. Like, I unfortunately have not binged a lot of stuff. I've
Yeah.
been working on this podcast some.
Yep.
I've been playing some video games for, like, 30 minutes a day if
Yeah.
I'm lucky.
Can
I
you
don't know.
can you do the tagline?
Mandalorian. I'm sorry. I was trying to do it as Barrett. No, I can't do it.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, the workload hasn't changed. It's just the location being at home and all the added things of you have to take care of at home.
It makes it more hectic. Like, I
Sure.
don't know about you guys. Like, I used to complain about work meetings, I felt like they were unnecessary. So now there's, like, almost more work meetings. And also there's, like, work group chats that you're supposed to be
Yeah.
staying up on all day. Like, for my job, I'm a I'm in video editing, so I could throw on headphones and just look at the computer and zone in on that, and like people would interrupt me if it was important. Now it's like I'm expected to answer every single text message and blah blah
Right.
blah. And I know that seems petty, but it just all adds up to like the stress of the day on top of trying to take care of your kid who doesn't want you to be sitting in a computer.
Right.
It's a lot of home time, and that's another thing that my wife and I discuss at night now is what is your schedule with work tomorrow? When do you have calls?
Yeah,
So
exactly. It's changed everything.
I'm like 9, 1:45, and 4. She's like, okay, I got a 10 and I got a 2, so I think we can make this work without the 1:45 bleeding over. And I'm like, why are we talking about this? I just
mean,
want to go back to work.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, that's the thing. Like, we have to balance it out to where it's like, okay, I guess Barrett's just going to come in on this Zoom chat for the last 30
Right.
minutes of it or something because we have an overlap.
And throw into the mix kids that are in school. So Sam's got Zoom classes that she's participating in for a couple hours a day. So she's
Oh, yeah.
so
Yeah.
we have to get her in front of that, and then we're on phone calls. It's a weird environment.
Asher, our 10-year-old, has that too, and he has like responsibilities. But that's another thing is this whole. What I've learned is the whole mute. The mute button has become my savior over the last 3 weeks or so. But here in Nashville are just only 2-3 weeks into this thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
ultimately,
we're sitting here complaining about it like, this is just our perspective on it.
I would say it hasn't even been a full 2 weeks. It seems like it's been forever. That's why I call it the never-ending story, and we don't know when we get out. But
Well, it's been long. I'm sorry. It's been longer than that. Like, I personally have been working from home since early March. Like, our company was like proactive and tried
Yeah.
to get ahead of the thing.
4 weeks. This is my 4th week.
Yeah. So
Really?
at
Yeah.
this point, I'm over a month at home.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't realize it had been that long.
Yeah.
I only assumed that it was. I remember we recorded the podcast the week of March 12th, 10th, 11th, and 12th is when like shit hit the fan. They were starting to cancel sporting events in the middle of them. They were starting to cancel everything, and then the following week is kind of when we got the news, and then I think the week after that is when we started the Safer at Home. So
Yeah, my company was already having us work at home that week.
Gotcha. As a city, we're only about 2 weeks into it. Now, we do have some friends of the podcast that are not so lucky. And that is, they've been dealing with this for quite a while. And we wanted to do something special for everybody out there today and get the perspective of people, kind of on the West Coast. Because that's where it initially kind of hit the United States. I mean, it attacked Washington, it attacked California, then New York was next, and then it started to crumble, and then infiltrate the middle of the country. But those were some of the first places that were impacted, and we've got a really good friend of the podcast. His name is Keith. He used to live in Nashville. They moved out to Washington in the Seattle area. What I'd say about 2 years ago.
It was last year. It was
Yeah.
like
Was
a
it
little
last
over a
year? It was
ago.
only.
Yeah.
It seems like it's been 2 years, Keith. But he's out there. They've moved into a town called Issaquah, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and they were one of the first impacted. I remember, calling him up when I heard those cities up there that were starting to be impacted by this to see what was going on. I thought it was crazy what was going on, but we've got him here, and we are about to give him a call and kind of check in on him, see what's going on, and kind of get an update from one of the earliest places hit. Keith, thanks so much for taking the time to join us on Raising Nashville. We miss you, buddy. We want to say that off the bat. And I also want to say something. Happy fucking birthday.
Hey.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And we've told everybody that you live out in the state of Washington, which took the major, I would say, a lot of the hit of this first. And what we want to know is how long, if you can even count that far back, have you guys kind of been under this entire lockdown?
I'm pretty sure dinosaurs roamed the earth back before a lockdown was in place.
Man.
So it's been a long time, but no. In all seriousness, I think it was mid-March. I think we're creeping up on like a solid month of lockdown. But a couple weeks before that,
Yeah.
everybody had kind of gotten wind of this virus that was going around, so everybody was kind of hunkering down anyway.
It seems like that when we found out about the coronavirus, you guys were already so far advanced. It was like you were already buying toilet paper and hand sanitizer and prepping.
How are the girls doing?
They're doing good, man. Lou lost her first tooth through all this and learned to ride a two-wheel bike, so she's off the training wheels and riding a two-wheel bike.
Hold on. All
Congratulations.
right, remind us, how old is Lou?
Lou is 5.
5.
Wow. Keith, let me ask you this. Do you think that this quarantine helped Lou learn how to ride a bike earlier?
I think it definitely motivated her to get outside a little bit more, and
Yeah.
it did kind of challenge her.
And I imagine you guys having more one-on-one time probably helped a little bit there too.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Being able to just say, all right, yeah, let's go out here and spend the time with her to do it. Then, yeah, I mean, she picked it up in like 3 hours.
3
Total?
hours?
That's awesome.
Training wheels to no training wheels?
We took the training wheels off. We spent about an hour a day, and on day 2, she was riding it like solid. And then day 3, it's like she's been doing it, and she'll never forget how at this point. Like, she is solid on a bike.
So what have you been doing to occupy your own mind?
Well, we built a home gym, so that we can have recreational activities in the gym of the physical kind in the garage, and we watched a lot of TV. We had a social distancing social hour today.
Okay.
In the neighborhood. Everybody opened their garage doors, and we drew these nice little boxes around the garage, and nobody came within 6 feet of one another, and we all hung out in front of the houses and just kind of hung out with the neighbors.
That sounds like the 1950s.
Right. Everybody's just kind of making ways to make it work.
Yeah. But I love that, though, because that's what it should be. And honestly, like, if anything, hopefully this makes neighbors, like, maybe come a little closer together. You have to talk to each other 6 feet apart, but then...
Or you get creepier, like me, and just watch your neighbors all day from a distance.
Okay.
I mean, I don't like people coming in my personal bubble anyway.
Do you think handshakes will be a thing again?
I hope we go to butt bumps from here on out, or like butt slap.
Sweet,
Can we go back? Can we go to like the good game butt slap? Like everybody just starts like good gaming each other.
Greetings go from the strong handshake to the simple butt slap.
I think I'm on board with that.
We can't do that in today's time.
Can you imagine giving Donald Trump the freedom to go around good gaming everybody?
Oh God, dude.
Like he needs it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So before we get out of here, and we want to thank you for the time for answering some questions from us from Seattle and giving us a perspective on where you guys are from and are at. We have to ask, what are you currently binging? And that could be anything. Are you binging TV? Are you binging
Albums?
Are you binging any, like, is there some kind of a consistent binge that you've been going through during the coronavirus?
Sour Patch Kids.
Keith, me too, man.
Just by the pound, like the 5-pound bag
Yes.
at the Kroger, doesn't stand a chance.
So what we're hearing here is binge on Sour Patch Kids.
Yes.
That's endorsed by 2 people right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll endorse that. No problem with that.
I mean, I don't know why there's a TP shortage, but there's Sour Patch Kids on the shelf.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Oh, Keith, I have one more question I have to ask based on our podcast last week. How long, and you have to be completely honest, from the start to finish of potty training Luella, how long did it take?
We dropped her off with Nana and picked her up, and she was potty trained, so we didn't do any of it.
Yeah,
Oh,
wow.
man.
That's awesome.
Nana covered that. She said, yeah.
Nana. How do I get a Nana, and how do I get a daycare in Clarksville? This is...
I had the same experience, Keith. It was, and in 1 week it was done.
I know the answer to one of your questions, Bucky.
All right. Well, Keith, again, thanks so much for taking the time with us. And
Tell the fam we said hey.
Tell them we said hey. Listening to this week's episode of Raising Nashville, we're excited to kick it with you again.
Excited to be here. 10-4, over and out from the Quah.
Well, that was a fun interview and perspective from, our buddy Keith from the Northwest. And, again, we want to mention that they were one of the first people hit with the coronavirus. Glad you're hanging in there, Keith, and we wish you guys the best, and hopefully you get out of this soon. Up next, and we've gone through ours. We just want to kind of roll through some phone calls here. It's kind of like crank yankers, right? We just want to call some people up.
That's what I want to say. Like, I have called more people in the past few weeks than I have called in the past 5 to 7 years, probably.
Yeah. But are you calling them or are you facing them? I'm not going to say FaceTime because not everybody has iPhones.
Right. But, I mean, yeah. It's one or the other. It's generally FaceTime, I guess, but, I'll text first and make sure that it's cool. But, yeah, I don't know, man. But even phone calls, I've called more, like I said, I've called more people than I've had in years.
There's people I'd like to talk to, but I don't necessarily want to see,
I can say that I've spent more time on phone calls. The phone calls have gone longer than they would have in the past and if this wasn't going on.
Do they? Oh, okay. So they answer.
Can I sidebar real quick here? I just want to say everybody needs to learn how to hold their phone properly when they're doing a video call. Everybody needs to stop holding the phone down towards their gut because no one wants to look like they're
view.
Yeah, no, you know what that view is, and no one wants that view.
Yeah.
But there's some people out there that don't want to hold it up towards their face because they've got the turkey neck or double chin going on.
Well,
so you've got to get creative on how
that's why
you
hold
display
it
yourself.
You hold it at a slightly higher angle. Like the Instagram influencers got one thing right, and that's how to angle a camera for a selfie. So just pay attention to that.
Yeah, stepmom. I called them the other day, or I did the face thing. It was one of the 6 apps I downloaded to look at people when I talk to them, apparently. And my stepmom, and she's trying to get my dad in this too, but she is in the bottom corner of the entire screen. And all I see is the wall behind her and a quarter of her face. And then then my dad wants to talk and she holds the camera over and it's half of his face. It's you've got to be able to tell where this thing is.
Yeah, they don't get it.
It's funny though. It's funny how every generation is having to adapt to what we're going on.
Yeah.
Again, we want to continue these phone calls. And we have something special for you guys up next from the beautiful city of Los Angeles, California, who is also on a lockdown. Beaches, Disney World, everything.
Disneyland.
It's land. I always get that wrong.
Never going to get that right.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm right there with you, though.
The Staples Center, what is it? Hollywood Boulevard. All of it is currently locked down. We do have somebody on the inside. You guys might know this person. So let's just roll into this call. All right, I know we're excited, and we finally have back for the, if I'm not mistaken, 4th time on our podcast.
4th time?
4th time on our podcast. We have the writer and composer, and I always bring this up, of our famed theme song here on Raising Nashville podcast. He is a very good friend of the show. We have asked him to do a lot of things in the past, and now we want to bring you up to speed with what Shane LaRue is currently doing. He resides in Los Angeles, California. And we are talking all things coronavirus related today. So what we have to ask, since we are apparently behind the bar in regards to the dates of the coronavirus, how long has this been affecting you, Shane?
Guys, I just want to say, hey, it's great to be back on the show. Great, thanks for having me back. I appreciate you guys every time you call, and it's been a little lonely on my end, so it's good to hear another voice. It's so far it's not so bad. I'm holding it together over here in Los Angeles.
So do you know how long L.A. has been shut down, or the state of California?
Yeah, it was about, I think, the middle of March, March 15th was when most of the cafes and restaurants closed.
Wow.
And
Okay.
so it's been kind of quarantined since then.
Do you have enough toilet paper to make it through?
I've got some toilet paper. I've got a lot of paper towels, actually, and
I
a
got
good
you.
amount of Kleenex that I think I can double up on. So yeah, I think I'll be okay.
I think if you mix the paper towels and a Kleenex, you've got toilet paper, right?
That's a good call, because straight up paper towels, oof, my butt just hurt just thinking about
No,
that.
Right.
you gotta wet it down a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk after the podcast.
Yeah. Also, I'd like to get that method if you can just send it to me too, Bucky.
All right.
If you've got a method.
Absolutely. So, Shane, let me ask you, and I have to be honest here, or I'm asking you to be honest, is in this shelter-in-place world that we live in right now, have you gone out for anything other than essentials?
Damn. Can we define essentials?
We can define essentials.
Groceries.
Alcohol.
Okay, groceries and alcohol.
Groceries and alcohol.
And medicinal supplies.
Sure. Medication.
Right, yeah. In Los Angeles, yeah, the dispensaries are still open. So by that definition, no. I have not gone out. And now, okay, let me ask you this. I did go out on a drive the other day.
I think
Okay.
that's
Does
fine.
that count?
I think a
Just an
drive.
aimless drive?
That's fine.
I think a drive is essential, to be honest with you. Sometimes you just need to get out. You need to go see something else.
It is for your mindset, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got Shane, I got a quick question. How is your Sour Patch Kid rations looking?
I've exhausted the Sour Patch Kids rations first day, actually.
Yeah.
First day.
I know it's tough.
I had a 5-pound bag.
Man,
I know.
Hit me pretty hard.
The 5-pound bag is where it's at.
yeah, that is a reoccurring theme out here.
I cannot find the 5-pound bag. I look.
They're at my house.
That's why I can't find the good bourbon either. Anyway, so Shane, we have to ask, because we've asked our previous guest and we've talked about this most of the episode. Currently, right now, what are you binging? And this could be anything from a TV show to, I think Juicebox said earlier,
Music, you know, if you're binging
records.
albums or if you're reading books.
Are you binging work?
I'm binging on Instagram
Or
personally right now.
binging Instagram?
Yeah, a lot of that. And puzzles. Can you binge puzzles? Because I've been binging puzzles.
Like physical
think so.
puzzles you put together?
Jigsaw?
Jigsaws?
Yeah, actual physical puzzles.
Yeah, you
Jigsaws.
can binge that. Although a puzzle binge is what, like one a week or something.
But that's like an
Yeah,
entire
well-
season.
Yeah,
You're putting a puzzle together.
Man.
I should really put on a episode or put on a show while I'm binging puzzles. I just usually do it in silent and humming to myself.
huh? That sounds like something a serial killer would do.
What's that?
It'd be hard for me to watch something while putting a puzzle together. Don't your eyes have to be in one place at minimum?
I don't really look at the puzzle when I put it together. I mostly do it
You
with my
just do-
hands.
I feel.
So what else has been going on during the coronavirus? I'm calling it that. During our quarantine break, social distancing, whatever you want to call it. What else is going on with Shane?
Well, I've been, like I said, in my apartment, I got, it's kind of a small place. I got room for, a little, just the essentials, kind of a bed space and a little puzzle space. But right now, most of it's taken up with boxes. I kind of goofed up a little bit at the beginning of this thing. You know how they were saying, face masks were the big thing. Like people were paying top dollar for face masks.
Sure.
Yeah,
you know?
it's crucial. We have people here that are like making them from scratch for us, so we can wear them to the grocery store. Like they're impossible to get.
People are working
Yeah.
hard to make these masks just for like healthcare frontline workers.
Short supply, high demand.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Right. Yeah. So I figured I'll just buy up a bunch of them, upcharge them a bit, make a pretty penny, to just sit pretty during this whole thing.
That's not cool.
Entrepreneur.
Right. So the thing I found out was they were talking about those masks, like the ones the doctors wear.
Right.
I
right.
ended up so I ended up with like a Michael Myers mask, I guess is what it is. It's like the
Oh.
mask from Halloween.
So how many of
So-
these do you have?
Yeah.
Well, right now I got about 400,000.
Man.
It's a bad investment, you know. I'll have to take a bath on this. If you guys know anybody that needs a Halloween mask, though, like, and I just want to put out to your listeners, like, if they need any Halloween masks, or like, 1,000 of them,
Yeah,
I'll put them a good deal.
Yeah, plug that.
So Oldboy loves Michael Myers, and
Put me
bet
down
he,
for one.
I bet he would buy a few from you.
Juicebox lives pretty close to Nashville Nightmare. Maybe we could.
That is true.
That's true. I'll try to work out a deal for you.
I can get them there probably. I can have them there tomorrow. Overnight for you.
Yeah, no doubt.
I can see your future now. I can see you with a suitcase full of Michael Myers masks going to Halloween stores for 1 month out of every year. And you're just a traveling salesman.
That might be one of the only jobs that are left after all this.
Well, Shane, thank you for taking the time to talk with us and sharing your experiences. And good luck with the masks. Good luck with the puzzle.
And we want to ask one last question. If you could plot master the coronavirus in 2020, what date are you calling the end? Over, under.
What day does it end?
What date does it end? I need a date.
Restrictions lifted.
Like your Mayans predicting the future. What date does it end?
June 23rd.
Is that your birthday? It's very specific.
Okay, look. If it's not June 23rd, I'll give you guys each 20,000 Michael Myers masks.
20,000. Oh, man. Fuck, I kind of hope it's not.
I kind of opened it.
And I'm a man of my word. I'll do it.
20,000 Michael Myers masks bought by
If it's
Shane
not
LaRue
June
during the
23rd.
coronavirus.
Oh, it's so good.
If the world is not better by June 23rd. Shane, thank you so much for taking the time with us here on Raising Nashville. We're excited to have you on again soon. I'm sure it'll be in the future. You take care of yourself and stay safe out there.
Yeah, put on that
man.
mask.
Yeah.
You guys too. I'm going to double up my mask if I go out. So, yeah, you guys
So that was
take
a
care. Thanks for having
fun
me.
lesson on hoarding.
Or how not to.
Or how not to flip something. Some people have good business sense, and some people don't.
Got to read the market.
But their heart was in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Wait.
No. Right? You're wrong place. Yeah. But they do have skills. Some have skills, so much more than other types of skills. Business sense is one. Composing is one. I feel like we were 50-50 with Shane. He's done a lot for the podcast, and we wish him luck.
Well, I mean, the good thing is, if we come out of this and haunted houses open back up, he can open a kick-ass haunted house that's nothing but Michael Myers characters.
That's right.
That is true.
I mean, we saw the all-clown haunted house last year. Why not an all Michael Myers
That's
haunted
right.
house?
Yep. Or he could just pass them out to homeless people. And
there you
imagine
go.
everywhere that a panhandler asked you for money, they were wearing a Michael Myers mask.
Why would I want to imagine that?
I don't know. It would save them from sunburns on their face.
She's going. I don't know where this is going.
We have a lot of fun on Raising Nashville
Do we?
podcast. So we're not done. We wanted to, again, take a couple of different comparisons from all over the country. So far we've had our buddy Keith in Seattle. We've had, obviously, the composer and Michael Myers hoarder, Shane LaRue from Los Angeles, California. And now we have a completely different perspective for you guys. We do talk about occasionally raising children on this podcast. And up next, I am so excited for this one. I don't think I've been excited. This person has never been on the show before. She is the former college roommate of both Oldboy and I.
True.
Yeah. And we all started working together when we were in college.
Yeah.
She met her husband through our friend group.
No, she worked with him, but
Did
yeah,
she?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
But
we
that's
all
how
worked
we met.
together.
Yeah, we all worked
We all
together,
worked together. She is a
Hilltopper, Kentuckian. Is that what you guys call yourselves? Kentuckians?
I'm not from Kentucky. I don't know how many times I have to say this. I went to college in Kentucky. My dad lives there. That is my only relationship with the state, with the bluegrass state.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, she's a good friend of ours.
She really is, and her and her husband Jesse and their daughter Eva, they all live in Tallahassee, Florida. She works for the Florida State University, and we want to give her a call and see how Florida is taking the coronavirus currently.
Let's do it.
On the line, we have former Kentuckian, current Floridian, former college roommate of mine, friends with Oldboy back in the day. We go way, way back. But on the line right now, we have Trinity. She's currently in Tallahassee, Florida with her husband, Jesse. Trinity, thank you so much for joining us today. How are things in Florida?
Well, things are pretty good. I mean, we basically live in South Georgia because we live in Tallahassee, so it's North Florida, South Georgia. But things are really good here. It's been interesting because it's like I feel like our governor is a little bit the butt of a lot of jokes right now because he made the WWE an essential.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That touches home pretty big. See, I actually had tickets to WrestleMania, which was the last large sporting event to be taken off the docket according to the coronavirus. And from what I understand, the governor, did they not just open the beaches back up today?
Oh, I have no idea. I mean, maybe. I kind of can't keep up with the news. Probably. I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay, so before I get into some more serious questions, you said South Georgia, North Florida. Do you like the band Florida Georgia Line?
No, not a fan.
You got it right.
No, what we wanted to do and what we're doing on this podcast today is we're kind of getting the perspectives of people from all over the country. So for you guys in Florida, when did this can you recall? I mean, I know it's been so many days since the lockdown or social distancing or quarantine, as some people call it. Do you remember when this started for you guys, or the first time you really got wind of it? Was it when they said you can't have gatherings of 250 people or more, or was it before that?
It was a little bit before that. We were hearing some things, and it's mainly because I work in higher education and specifically with events and event planning. And plus, a lot of universities that were kind of paving the way with, we're going to send all of our students home, or we're going to do virtual classes for the rest of the semester. And so it's been probably since March 13th is when we started really taking action. I think that might have been my last day actually physically in the office.
So you're well into over a month now.
Yeah.
And then do you remember when Eva's school was closed?
Pretty much the exact same time. It was actually a little bit before that. I feel like it was like a week or two before that, but I wasn't staying at home quite yet because at that point my mother-in-law was in town, so Eva was staying home with her. Because what they did was they had spring break, and I can't remember exactly what week that was.
Oh, yeah. That was a big thing for a lot of kids in the country.
That's what they did
they
here,
had
too.
Yeah, and they said they extended spring break, so we had like an additional week, and then they're like, oh, just kidding, we're not coming back. So here's a bunch of virtual stuff to do.
I love how they spun it like that. They were like, oh, we're extending spring break. We're not canceling school because there's a pandemic. We're just extending spring break for a little while.
That is
cool.
That's
it. Like, well, basically what they're trying to say is like we need another week to get our shit together because we're going to have to go virtual for like a month at least. And so it's like, all right, how do we do this with elementary school kids?
No kidding. I mean, it's really unheard of. Like this is something that would take generally like months or a year to prepare for, and people have just been thrown into it like in 2 weeks.
Adapting.
Yeah, definitely.
So Trinity, what's it been like with Eva at home? Have you been taking over some of the teaching duties?
So fortunately, when Eva was very young, like little, like probably, well, it was after she was born, but she was really little. I got her an email address, which is her name, a Gmail. And because I was like, I'm going to go ahead and reserve her name, and then I'm going to send her emails of like funny stories and like pictures and stuff, so that when she gets older, she'll have it. And so now she's actually been using that.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, so, and for Christmas, she had asked for her own laptop because I bring mine home from work a lot of the time, and she'll see me on it, like, typing away, and she's like, I just really want my own laptop. I'm like, what are you gonna do? Like, write a tome? I mean, what do you need it for? But, so, we got her one. We got her a Chromebook, and so now, I mean, she's able to, it's not been too difficult for us because we're very fortunate to have that stuff that she can stay connected with, and she's been online Zooming with her classmates.
Yeah,
and it's hilarious because they all talk at the same time, and so it's like the Zoom camera like doesn't know which kid to go to.
Yeah.
So we have to ask, because we have asked everybody that we've interviewed on this podcast today. During the coronavirus, it allows for plenty of time to catch up on things, to create projects, to do things that you've always been meaning to do, and also it gives you the ability to binge. And we have been talking about that a lot today on the podcast. So we have to ask, what have you and Jesse, and this can be anything, it does not necessarily have to be TV, have you been binging during the coronavirus 2020?
I mean, we've been playing a lot of video games. Specifically one video game because it takes a lot of hours. The craziest thing is like, it's almost like we caused all this because it's The Witcher 3.
Oh.
And yeah, and so we've been playing it, and I mean, we're only like level 18 right now. Like it's such a just huge game.
Trinity,
and so
that's my
what we've been
favorite game.
I wish you could see Oldboy's arm hairs right now.
That is my favorite game, Trinity. So I'm so glad that I know somebody else who's played it. It's awesome.
Trinity, we hadn't talked to you in a while, and you might not know this, but Oldboy is off the video games currently.
Currently, believe it or not, through this virus, I've actually kind of gotten away from video games. I probably hadn't played a video game this month.
That's awesome. I mean, it's like it's a time for new things, new awakenings. But the other things, like as far as binging, I mean, I will say that we did fall into the Tiger King trap.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, everybody did, right? Like,
yeah.
It was, I saw it. People were sharing it. People were talking about it at work, having it as their background on Zoom, and I'm just like, okay. So we watched it because I mean, it's intriguing. The trailer is just like, they literally throw every single word at you. It's like murder, like like drug kingpins, and you're just like, what? Like tigers, and you're like
polygamy, and it's great.
Yeah. And then they top it off with, I saw a tiger, tiger saw a man. I mean,
honestly, the best thing to come out of that series is Joe Exotic's music, probably.
Oh. No kidding. And it's so funny because it's like, this is very obviously not your voice. What are we supposed to believe here?
Yeah. In all honesty, because the popularity of that thing has just exploded, it's almost like that's all Netflix had to offer, but they offered the perfect thing at the right time.
At the perfect moment.
In all honesty, Trinity, I have to ask you, would you, in any other given circumstance, recommend that 6-part documentary to someone to watch?
Definitely not. And honestly, one of the reasons I watched it was out of curiosity because, I mean, y'all probably remember I'm like have a huge heart for animals.
Yep.
And I watched it because I was like, okay, well, it's going to talk about these crazy people, and then it's also going to talk about how we're going to try to not have all these like tigers just as, fodder for all these crazy people out there. And
nope.
no, it really nothing.
It wasn't that at all.
Not at all. So I was like, well, that was a disappointment, but okay, well, I spent some time doing that. Now what can I do? So
see, I feel like the trailer had it all. The trailer was the only thing you needed to watch, and then you could just not watch the rest of the series.
You're right.
Exactly. You'd be like, okay, well, that's what this is all about. And then it's like, okay, well, I could have, there's a lot that I could have avoided, especially a lot of Florida stereotype stuff. I mean, we're not native Floridians, but we do live here. And
all right, so before we get out of here, and again, we want to thank you for taking the time with us. We got 2 more quick questions, specifically to a previous podcast, and then one we're talking about now. First, how long from start to finish did it take you and Jesse to potty train Eva? And we're talking the day we decided to start to the day she was potty trained. How long?
God, God. Okay, let's see. She was potty trained definitely before. I feel like before she was 3 or around 3. Like she caught on to it really quickly.
Would you say a week?
Yeah.
It took you a week.
Oh, I remember. Like, yeah. So her daycare. I remember. Like, I think that you. You had to
Please
say
don't
less.
continue. Just stop there.
Honestly,
Can you see
no.
Bucky
You
giving
got
us
a
the bird?
discount. No, you got a discount if your kid was potty trained.
Oh man,
That's
So
a
that
huge
was
incentive.
like-
yeah, no kidding.
So I feel like we started talking to her about it pretty young. I mean, like, because, kids just follow you into the bathroom. Like, so I'll be like, Mommy's going to the bathroom, like, if you feel like you have to do this. So you got to get them used to, like, that's normal and not peeing on yourself all the time is normal.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like it was like 18 months to 2 years we started talking about. So it probably was like it's a process, probably like a year and a half at least. So we just kind of worked on it. And then we finally were one day like, all right, you're going to wear pull-ups. You're not going to, And so she was potty trained when she was 3, for sure.
Wait, so do you think that it took you a year to potty train her?
Not when we got, like, super serious, like, saying, like, hey, you're going to do it. But we just introduced it really early on.
You don't have to continue talking. This is already encouragement to me. Speaking from somebody who is a couple of months into it and sees no end in sight, that gives me hope because I don't know if you know this, but Oldboy was able to pay somebody to potty train his kid in like 5 days.
It was a daycare also, Trinity. It was a daycare. They did it, and she was done. It was 1 week, and it was great. I did not get a discount.
All right, one last question before we go. If you could predict the exact day that all of this is over, what day are you going to put your money on?
Oh, God. I'd say what year, to be honest.
Really? Yeah.
That is true, but I'm talking about this initial, like, regulation. So the day that we can all go hang out with our friends again, the day that we can go to the bars, the day that we can go to concerts and sporting events.
Let's just go ahead. I'm hopeful, and like I said, working in higher ed, I just always have like an academic year brain. But I'm hopeful that by Labor Day, let's say Labor Day weekend, we can all have a big blowout.
Shoot,
That's a good one.
The whole summer, we're not getting together.
We all go back to work on Labor Day.
Seriously, no, listen. Well, I mean, we've already gone to virtual classes through summer. So we know that's happening. So
Right.
I mean, I don't know exactly when I'll be going back. But I mean, I'm working every day remotely, but I don't know physically when I'll be back.
They sent us home like a week before the shelter-in-place thing started, and then they keep pushing back our date of when we can come back. Like, whatever they say, they keep saying a week after that. So who even knows what's going to happen?
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
I like the odds of Labor Day, though. I might take those odds.
I mean, Texas is going back right now. Texas is like, we'll be okay.
Oh, speaking of things real quick that we have been binging, I've been catching up on The Walking Dead because I stopped watching it a few years ago because it was just like...
Did you stop watching it when Rick Grimes was taken away by the helicopter?
Or did that just spoil something for you?
Nothing ever spoils me because I don't care. I'll watch it anyway, but I stopped watching before Glenn got beaten down.
I gotcha.
So I started watching it again, and I was just joking about it in one of my meetings. I was like, yeah, I mean, I feel like this is kind of training for what may happen.
Oh, man.
You never know, so
That's true.
just brushing up.
That's awesome. Well, Trinity, again, thanks so much for taking the time with us today. It's great to get a mom's perspective from, another state, not necessarily the West Coast. We're going far East Coast here, actually the Florida-Georgia line, which is not that far from us. I don't know why I keep plugging that. We hope you guys stay safe, stay healthy. We look forward to seeing you again and talking to you very, very soon.
Tell the family we said hey.
Definitely will. Thank y'all.
Thank
All right,
you.
Thank you. I quit watching The Walking Dead when they introduced that tiger.
Dude, that's when I stopped watching it. Also, right after Glenn got killed or whatever, I was like, I'm done with Walking Dead. This show jumped the tiger.
They jumped the fucking tiger, dude.
Well, I mean, that was a fun interview with Trinity, and again, to get a good mom's perspective on how we're all kind of dealing with this coronavirus. I know you guys have stories out there. There are things that you are doing that you're being, either creative, you're going insane, you're, Jack Nicholson shining it right now and trying to push through. You're doing things in your yard. You're teaching your kids. You're trying to put up with your kids' Zoom calls. You're baking more. I mean, there's many things that you could be doing right now, or you're not doing. And
and if you're not, that's fine, because honestly, you might have work and a kid or other stuff to deal with.
Yes.
Or you're working. I was getting to that.
I'm sorry. I just jumped the gun because that's very personal to me.
Whatever you're doing, we just wanted to take, an hour out of the day to kind of talk about what we're doing, just because you may not be talking to that many people, or you may be talking to a lot more people like Juicebox, or having longer phone calls. But if you're not, and you're in that isolation mode, and you've reached the end of Netflix, and you no longer are like, the phone in your hand is just driving you crazy, we're happy that you joined us today on Raising Nashville podcast. We want to, say a couple of things before we get out of here.
I just want to say real quick, give me something that you guys are binging that you're a little shamed about binging.
Oh,
I think
It doesn't have to be television or movies. It could be anything that you're doing more of. I can go first.
You've kind of put us on a weird spot here.
I know, I just thought of this, but my Cheeto consumption has gone through the roof, you guys. I was generally buying those regular size Cheeto bags. I've gone to buy straight up family size Cheeto bags for myself. And
some yellow gold fingers.
And Barrett's like, bite. I'm like, no, man, these are not for you. Like, sorry.
Embarrassing things that we're doing during the quarantine or coronavirus. I have this thing where I go in the bathroom and I sit on the floor and
said no masturbation.
No, this isn't what that is.
Is this gonna be like shame crying?
It is. It's close. It's close to shame crying.
No. I'm
So I did this when I was a kid. I went in the bathroom. I sat on the floor and I turned a hairdryer on and just blew dry my body. I like the heat. I like sitting there and thinking. I'm fully clothed, and I just run that hairdryer up and down my legs, my chest, my arms, and just because there's something about warmth that is calming to me. So I will go in there and I will create posts for this podcast while in one hand, while having a hairdryer in the other hand and keeping myself warm.
I could have done without that.
No, there you go, listenership. Like, now you have that mental image when you look at our Instagram.
When you see a post, that's it.
You just got deep inside Bucky's head.
I'm unsubscribing right
I'm
now.
very comfortable when I'm creating posts for this podcast.
That's good. It comes through.
Yeah. Now you're making us uncomfortable. I got to be honest. I'm kind of the opposite. Like, I work all day. I'm listening to a lot more music. I'm kind of zoning out. I'm less binging. I'm not playing video games. I'm not really watching a lot of shows. I spend a lot of time outdoors.
Yeah, we do a lot of outdoor backyard time. But for me, it's just like the snacks, like being at home and the availability of snacks
is tough.
Yeah.
But I'm typically down to one meal. Like, I think my body knows a Great Depression's coming, and like I'm just eating dinner, and I don't know.
Are you sure you're just not depressed?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm in a pretty good place.
I'm with Oldboy. I'm eating less. And
Jesus Christ, guys, I'm doing this wrong.
I've also tried to convince my wife to not go to the grocery store, and we should deplete everything in our house. And that's a challenge out there for you guys, is go into your cabinets and try to eat everything that's just been sitting in there.
Dude, we need to do that too. We've been talking about that. Like, our freezer is jam-packed, and I'm like, stop buying frozen whatever. We have it all.
We can't even open this thing anymore.
Yeah.
That's a good idea, actually. Yeah, but I don't. So I did eat a bag of some Doritos recently, but I really don't even snack during the day most of the time. So I'm in a weird place. I'm about to start start meditating.
You don't have anything embarrassing. You just said meditation. You're not eating. You're not playing video games. On this podcast alone,
I think I'm
said
gonna try
that
yoga.
I'm binging wrestling. I'm spying on my neighbors.
I don't do that.
And I have this weird blow drying fetish in my bathroom. And you are just trying to take the high road here.
No, I've been out chopping wood, starting fires. I've probably
Drinking whiskey and starting fires.
Yeah, I've probably been doing a little more of that than I normally do.
Okay.
But that's
So alcoholism.
I'd say it's a plus. No. It's not a.
That's not funny.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. But I don't. No. Not it's not every day or every night. But I've gotten together with you guys a few times, so it's a fucking bonus. In my
Social
opinion.
distancing has not stopped us from bringing our vocals to your eardrums.
Yeah.
And that is something that we're thankful for.
Yeah, we are taking precautions, though, just so everybody knows.
Absolutely.
We are far away. We're actually, I just want to say, if this part of the podcast sounds different than the beginning of the podcast, it's because the beginning of the podcast was recorded on the deck at my house so we could all be safe distance apart.
Right.
And then it got real cold.
It did. In fact, I couldn't take it anymore. We were too far away from the fire. So I somehow convinced these three to pick up all of this equipment. And now we have gone, I'd say 17 houses down. And now we're in Oldboy's garage.
Yep. This is by far the creepiest location we've recorded a podcast.
It is. I'm getting some serial killer type vibes in this garage.
Yeah, he doesn't want to tell us this shameful thing because we can probably lift up a board over here and find a dead body.
Actually, you're about to become my shameful things.
That is true. So, thank you again, as always, for listening to us this week. Before I kind of plug our socials and website and what everybody else does on podcasts, I'd rather take a moment this week and say, anywhere that you can go, and if you're comfortable doing this, or you feel like you have something to give, feel free to support any frontline workers out there that are currently unemployed. It's not easy. All of your restaurant workers, your bartenders, people that worked at Hobby Lobby. Stuff like that that's not deemed an essential business. They currently are getting paid, unemployment wages if they filed for it, and that's just not enough. And
Right.
a $1,200 check is not enough.
No.
And so we want you, instead of taking 30 seconds today to go on our socials or go wherever you listen to this podcast and like us, rate us, and whatever, don't care about that this week. What we want you to do is support anybody who is struggling right now any way you can.
That's the thing. Like, a lot of these people have GoFundMes or whatever set up. You can donate $5, man. It all adds up. Like, I just want to give I don't know why this just popped into my head, but one of our favorite DJs around town, Spice J.
Yep.
He is like DJs at like a lot of the bars we go to. He's awesome. He's been doing a lot of Instagram live stuff recently and just, DJing on there. He's got his Venmo up there so you can throw him $5 or whatever. Like, stuff like that adds up for people that are in this business. So
that is true. And we are in Music City, USA. There are a ton of people live streaming things out there and just asking for donations.
Yeah.
It's all free. You can go on YouTube. You can go on their Facebook pages and you can watch these concerts, and they're just asking for donations. So when you do that, just think about donating.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, $5, even like just a couple bucks, like whatever, it all adds up for those people.
It's all great karma during this time. Again, thank you for taking the time to listen to us again this week. We will see you guys next week. Get out there and get those Sour Patch Kids. Apparently TP's back. Sour Patch is out.
Is TP back?
I think it's back. We hope you guys enjoy listening. If you don't have children,
Have one.
have one.
Catch up.
Yeah, we want you to know what we go through.
Yeah, the fear.
Turn around. Look at what you see.